wrapped up this morning, I want to say good morning and welcome to all of you, whether you're watching this live here on Friday, August 12th at 10 a.m. Eastern, or maybe you're watching this in playback in some other format later. Maybe somebody shared the link with you. Whoop, I got to stop my YouTube or else I'm going to get an echo in the background there. I want to say good morning and welcome, and I am delighted that you are here. You may not be delighted that you are here because if you're here, it means you're not working. You're not back to work yet. Or maybe you're here because you've recently joined those others in the group who are in career transition and you don't want to be in that boat. It's not a fun place to be. And that's part of the reason I created this VIP job seeking community is because I want you to feel like you're not alone in this. And there's just something crazy that happens when we become part of the workforce. We become part of corporate
Pardon
America.
me, Brenda.
And can you hear me?
Brenda,
Yes.
we can hear you. However, your camera just turned off.
Let me try this again here. My video sometimes flickers and it just went off. There's my laptop video, camera 1, camera 2. There's my better webcam video. Thank you,
Like
Christopher.
a pro.
I appreciate it. All right. So there's something interesting that happens when you join the workforce and you become a part of corporate America. You join a team, right? And you build up friendships within the workplace, mentors, that you trust with information and people that you're mentoring, and you're part of a team and you're all working these crazy hours trying to help to get the job done and support the company and support the organization. And you give your blood, sweat, and tears, right? To support yourself in your career, your coworkers, your manager, the leadership team. And then lo and behold, you get that awkward tap on the shoulder by HR and asked to come into the office, or you're meeting with them during your annual performance review that goes completely 180 on you, or you get that awkward request for a meeting on a Friday, always on a Friday, right? Meeting on a Friday or a Zoom call or an email, or even worse, a mass email. You're part of a workforce reduction and they use all these fancy corporate words that make themselves sound like they had no choice in the matter. And it was really not, your life was affected, but your life was affected. And then the interesting thing that happens the next day is you're not part of a team. And to me, that's the most jarring thing to go through because you think about, we spend, feels like more than half of our lives with the people that we work with. I mean, at least half the day, if that, right? And then all of a sudden you're not part of that team anymore. What happens to the team? Where did it go? Where did the people go that were supporting you along the way, along the journey? And where, did your support go? It's magically, it's like vaporizes overnight. And I always found it interesting how some people, when it happened to me, and it's happened to me a couple times in my career. So, there's some people that reach out to you right away. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. You deserve better than this. Better things are ahead of you. Some people don't acknowledge it at all, right? And you're like, well, that was kind of odd. I thought we were like BFFs at work, right? And then you get some people who reach out to you who you really didn't know that well, and they are very thoughtful and considerate. And you're like, wow, I didn't realize that they thought about me that way, that they were so supportive. At any rate, you kind of feel like you're floating out there, right? Maybe your employer is one of the gracious ones who's given you some type of a severance package. If they did, please take full advantage of everything they give you and use every single stinking dollar that was in that package, whether it's for resume rewriting, career coaching, training, LinkedIn services, wink, wink, anything that they give you that they have paid for. Don't feel like I'm not going to take anything from that company. Like take everything that they give you and maximize what they give you, because that is entitled to you and they are really trying to help you. So don't turn your back on the resources they give you. Take full advantage of them. The other thing is, and if there's anyone on the call here today who has recently been transitioned out of the company or whatever you want to call it, they give you these severance packages sometimes, and they give you a letter or a contract or something to sign off on. Before you sign anything, talk to an attorney or a lawyer, somebody who has a legal eye for going through the document and making sure that you are not missing something. You are in an emotional space in your head when you're going through a career transition, not by choice. Your head is spinning. Very first thing is probably salary and benefits, how I'm going to keep up with all of these things. And you feel like, especially if the employer says, take this package, it's the best we're going to give you. If you don't sign on this now, you don't get anything. You feel like you're kind of threatened and put into a corner. You feel like you're at a disadvantage, and you're more than likely to sign off because you don't want to lose anything, right? Still sign off with an attorney. And the second thing is if you were discharged not by choice and they ask you for a letter of separation saying that you're leaving the organization, do not give them a letter. If you can avoid that, because of the fact that that will nullify your unemployment benefits. I don't understand this part at all. So if the company is telling me we don't want you working for us anymore because we're down or whatever reasons are happening, the company needs to reduce their workforce. I get that. The company needs to stay viable. But why are you going to get a letter from me that negates my unemployment benefits? That to me is cruel. And I don't agree with that concept. So if they ask you for a letter saying that you are voluntarily leaving the company, please talk to an attorney before doing so, because that could nullify your unemployment benefits. So that means when you go to apply for unemployment after your severance runs out, you're not going to be able to apply for it because there's a document that says you left the company by choice. Now, if you leave the company by choice, that means you quit. You don't get unemployment. If they let you go, if they fired you, laid you off, all those other things, you qualify for unemployment benefits. These are the little things that nobody will tell you. You will discover them on your own, or you'll talk amongst yourselves and things like that. Maybe you'll have a friend who is an employment attorney or an employment law attorney or something like that, and they will have advised you on these things. But the employer really doesn't benefit from telling you these things, because the employer, their interest is in protecting the company, right? They want to get you out the door with as little money and pay as possible, right? I'm sorry to be blunt, but that's what they want to do. They want to get you to go on your way quietly into the night, as quietly as possible. They don't want to have you squawking. Um, you know, maybe they're a humane organization and they're going to do as much as they can. But realistically, organizations are not human beings. Organizations are businesses, and they're going to try to keep their costs minimal, right? So there's no benefit to them. The unemployment agency, they're there to help answer your questions and process your paperwork. But probably by the time that you get to them, any legal documents that you have signed or letters of, that's done. It's water under the bridge at that point. So there's really nothing they can do. If you work with an attorney, sometimes they'll give you a 15-minute complimentary phone call, unless you're planning on going back to the employer and suing them for wrongful termination or something like that. There's really no benefit for them. So I'm just saying all of these things because I've gone through this myself. I've seen friends go through this. I get angry sometimes, and I'm sorry to have let that out, but I gotta like release it sometimes. Can't like keep it all inside. When I see these things happening to such good people who have put in, I'm gonna go back to what I was talking about at the beginning, your blood, your sweat, your tears. You are part of a team. I think about the sacrifices I've made, that my friends have made, my family members have made over the years, and then they were let go. And it's like, oh, and I'm in that place in my life now. If I know, I'm knowing now what I know now. There are so many things I do differently, and there's advice that I give people differently based on what I've done. Having said all of that, energy moves in one direction, and I want to stay positive. You cannot control what happened to you. You can control your attitude. You can control what you do today, what you do tomorrow, and what you do into the future. And you can propel all of that negative energy into a spitfire of positivity and help light a fire under other people that are around you. That's what I've done. That's where my business, Meller Marketing, comes from. And that's what led me to creating and fostering this wonderful VIP job seeking community. And that's why I do it to this day. And I am delighted to see all of you on the call. I see there's many more people on. I'm just going to say a quick good morning and welcome to Christopher, Kenneth. I see somebody with stars. I'm not sure who you are, but you're perfectly fine to star out your name. Good morning to Becky, Brad, Lewis, Dean, Jeff, Joan, Joey, John. John has a story, I think, to share with us, if I'm not mistaken. Jude, Lisa L, Lisa V, Moss, Nancy, Paula, Retha, Scott, Sue, Valerie, Vic, and Wendy. I am delighted that you are here today. I will also be very happy to not see you here eventually on a Friday, because then I know my job here is done and you're back to work, right? Hopefully you're not leaving because you don't like the group, but hopefully you're leaving because you're back to work. That's my goal, is to not see you on these Friday calls because you are back to work. In the meantime, we are here for you every Friday. If you happen to miss the Friday call, do know that this is being live streamed onto YouTube, where you can go and catch the playback later. So if you want to watch my little inspirational thing I had at the beginning again, if you missed half of it, you can go back and watch the replay of that, and maybe share it with someone else, because maybe there was a nugget of information in there. You're like, wait a minute, she said something about a letter. What did she say? Share that along with somebody who's going through this process. Okay. So that's my story, my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. And I want to get going with introductions this morning. So if you have not already done so, please go into chat right now and type in your introduction. I'm going to put my little, I use a service, it's called Text Expander. And when I type in like a shortening code, that's what allows me to put my description in so quickly. I'm not that fast of a typist. So please introduce yourself. Keep it brief. Here's what we want. Your targeted job title. Tell us 1 or 2 job titles that you are looking for. Tell us your targeted geographic area. Where in the world are you seeking employment? Even if you are looking for a remote position, tell us the geographic area you are based out of. I heard of an employer yesterday. They're looking for a recruiter, but the company is based in Canada. So I think their preference would be to have somebody who's in Canada doing the recruiting for them. So that's why we want to know your targeted geographic area. And then please put in your LinkedIn URL with the full web address, including the HTTPS. If it doesn't include the HTTPS, it's not going to be blue and it's not going to be clickable inside chat. And right now you can actually go and click on these in chat and invite other job seekers to connect with you. I encourage you to do so. Make your network bigger because all of us can help each other to get to that path of finding a new dream job faster. And by the way, when you see each other's posts on LinkedIn, always stop, add a like or a reaction, and add a brief comment because that helps to give us visibility, help to support each other, help to create that social media karma, propel that energy forward, right? And let's show them what we're made of here. All right, so let's see who's on with us and see some of these introductions. Dean is looking for an IT leader position in Hartford, Connecticut. He is highly experienced in computer infrastructure, so keep Dean in mind with that. Brad is joining us from Long Island. He is in corporate financial planning and analysis, FP&A, right? I think I asked you about that once upon a time too. What does that mean, FP&A? And Brad, thank you for joining us. Lisa is transitioning to a position in nonprofit, and I think she'll do really well. She's looking for a community development volunteer management position within a nonprofit, not a volunteer unpaid position, right, Lisa? You're looking for a paid position within a nonprofit. Lisa, could you please put your LinkedIn URL in again because it's not clickable right now? Did you do that already? Thank you. I just saw her do the gesture for it's below, which is the finger pointing. Christopher is joining us today. Now, Christopher, you're not in career transition. Can you remind us what it is that you do? Because you do such a great job volunteering your time every week. Can you remind us what you do?
Happily. Thank you very much. I help organizations produce virtual and live streamed events for a variety of different types of companies, whether it is a regional conference, a meeting of folk from around the country, or just a town hall for a local group. Putting that on a virtual platform smoothly, effortlessly, and calmly is what I assist with.
Wonderful. Thank you, Christopher. And thank you for helping with today's call. I see that there are a few other people who are experts within the realm of LinkedIn, job search, coaching, strategy, those types of things. So I'm going to ask them if they would like to introduce themselves and then help me out with some questions and facilitating the call a little bit today. First, I see Kenneth laying on my screen. Kenneth, could you please introduce yourself, sir?
Sure. First, I have to ask Brenda, do you have a cold?
I do. Can you tell the nasaliness a little bit?
Well, because I have a cold too. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
if I'm on mute every once in a while, it's because I'm coughing like crazy here. So no worries. Hi, I'm Kenneth Lang. I'm here based in Northern New Jersey. I do LinkedIn training, pretty much focusing on 45 and older, and I'm here to support Brenda and Christopher and everyone else here. Just to let everyone know, on Monday from 1 to 2 o'clock, starting this week, I'm having LinkedIn office hours. I actually posted about that. So anyone who wants to come is welcome to come. We're going to be doing that every other week. So Brenda, thanks a lot for being the support that you are. And my networking friend, the same with you, Christopher, and everyone else.
Well, thank you for joining us,
Excuse me.
Kenneth. It's not fun having a cold, and Christopher just got over a
No.
little something himself. I got
No.
something,
Nope.
but the wonderful thing is on Zoom, we can mute ourselves while we're coughing and sneezing. And I'm going to go grab a water in a second here too. Thank you, Kenneth, for joining us. Jude Gall, I also see you on the call. Jude, are you able to, someone said they were going to be listening only. I think that might've been Sue. Jude, can you unmute yourself? Tell us about yourself and can you help us out today?
I certainly can. Good morning. My name is Jude Gall. I'm in the Windsor, Detroit area, and I don't have a cold, but I noticed your voice immediately, Brenda. I hope you feel better soon. And what I do is to help people find work. I'm involved in all things job search, whether that's improving on your resume or writing you a brand new stellar resume, helping you with interview, job search, networking, looking at your LinkedIn to see if it can be improved, to negotiating your salary and anything else in between. I'm one of those nerds that loves to write resumes and help people get work that they love. That's what I'm aiming for. I don't want anyone to just get a job, any job. I really have that strong belief that everyone deserves a job that they love to go to every Monday morning. So that's all about me. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jude. And I don't know, Jude, if you were, I don't think you were a part of it. I did like a LinkedIn Live-a-thon for job seekers a while back. Were you, I don't think you were a part of the group when I did that. Does that sound familiar to you at all? No. So Kenneth, I know you were a part of it. And this was something I got like, it was like Saturday morning. I was like drinking my coffee and like sometimes the caffeine like rushes to your head. You get these really grandeur ideas on the weekend. Because I don't know if it happens to everyone else, but it happens to me. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a LinkedIn Live-a-thon for job seekers. And I'm going to do like an 8-hour back-to-back, have speakers coming in. And the first one I did at the 4-hour mark, I didn't make a mistake. I had a learning experience. My learning experience at the 4-hour mark was that LinkedIn Live stops because they don't like you to go more than 4 hours in a live stream. But I just stopped the stream and started a stream. I was like, haha, LinkedIn, what else you got for me? And we kept it going. And I did that. I think I did it for 3 or 4 months consecutively. I think I had 3 of them total. And I ended up pulling in different speakers for 20 to 30-minute segments, presenting on a topic. And I just kind of came in as the co-host at the beginning and, segueing in between presenters and then wrapped it up at the end. I'm kicking around the idea again to do something because we're in this weird roller coaster of the job search market. Job seekers are in demand. There's not enough workers out there. Employers are hiring. Nobody's hiring. It is a recession. It's not a recession. Like, I'm not sure what's going on. And then all these tech companies are laying off. And there's a huge demand in jobs. I'm like, what the heck is going on out there? So I feel like there's a need for another LinkedIn Live-a-thon for job seekers. I'm probably going to do it during the weekday. And if anyone who is a job search expert on the call wants to join me, message me, email me. I'll probably be reaching out to those of my helpers on the call here. And you guys are all on my email list already, so you'll get notified when that comes up. But I'm thinking maybe September-ish, mid-September, give a couple weeks for promotion for that. It's about time for it. But Jude, you just inspired me because you were talking about certain types of things that you do. And one is helping people to find a job that they love. I think that is so important. There's a lot of people on the call right now, and I know because I've been there. You just want a job. You just want salary. You just want benefits. You just want to get something so that you have something, that you're not relying upon unemployment that's running out, or you're not having to find a safety net job. Once upon a time, I think it was either TGI Fridays or Ruby Tuesdays. I was this close to starting hosting again because I could not find a marketing job. It was early in my career before we had kids, before I was married, but I was like, I can't find a job. I need money. So I was this close and I don't care. I'm like, pride is going up on a shelf. I'm going to move from hostessing to waitressing. I'm going to make all kinds of money quickly. But I know what you mean, Jude, when you say you want to find a job that you love. I would not have loved hostessing for my life. I love marketing. So helping people to get there and to find their dream jobs when we're in a vulnerable position, I think that's key, is really important. Okay, so I think Sue Griffey said she is listen only. Sue, if I was mistaken and you want to speak up, please unmute yourself. And if there is anyone else who is a career strategy expert on the call that I have missed, please unmute yourself right now because I'd like to ask you to help us with some of the questions today. I don't think there is anyone else. All right. Having said that, I'm going to go through chat and see if there are any questions or success stories. The first one I saw was Lisa Vitale-Hess has a question. Lisa, could you please unmute yourself and come on up to the stage?
Hello, everybody. I'm here. Thank you for answering my questions, so here's the deal. I sent out a resume for a position and they sent me a letter back that said, we did an internal fill for the position. Here's another position that we have that you might want to apply for. But the pay range is really low. So what do? Do I apply anyway? Because they wanted to set up a half an hour Zoom interview and then just see where it goes from there? What do you think?
All right, I'm going to start, and then we're going to go Kenneth and Jude. I'm going to keep all four of us on screen because we're going to keep these going pretty quickly today. I'm going to start by giving you some advice that I heard from my friend Tina Marie Woolfield. I'm not sure if you know Tina Marie or not. She's in Metro Detroit, Lisa. She works in the HR field. She's an independent consultant now. And she told me once, and I think somebody told her this, but you don't ever turn down an interview, you turn down a job offer. So if it were me, I would take the interview, because if you applied for something and they're saying, hey, how about this instead? They saw something in you, right? And if you get into that conversation, learn about the position, learn about the role. And if they're saying, if they already said it's X salary, if they're saying moving forward, you're accepting that you're open to the salary. I mean, I don't know if they've asked you that question point blank. Just say, I'm interested in having a conversation. And once you get into that conversation, the one question I would make sure you ask is, what was it that prompted you to reach out for this position instead of that position? Because you really wanted the other one. Was it that they already filled it? Was it that they saw some qualifications on the other one that you had? So try to figure out what they, why it was they brought this other one to you instead of the first one. And then build some familiarity. I would definitely invite them to connect on LinkedIn. If it looks like you're going to continue down the path and the salary is not negotiable to get to a point where you need it, then you would pull yourself out of consideration. That's my recommendation. Kenneth, what do you say? And then we'll go to Jude.
I don't think you should ever turn down an interview. It's always good practice. You can try out certain questions there and you can see how they respond, because you never know. And you never know what, if you make a good impression, it's very possible you might lead to another job that they have down the road. You can't turn down an interview anytime. It's good practice. When I was in job search, a lot of times it's like I was going on an audition. I'm an actor and I'm going to audition. I'm going to try it out. And the casting director is the interviewee, because that's the mindset you want to have. But just make it a conversation no matter what. It's not an interrogation.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jude. Sorry, go ahead.
Great advice from Brenda and Kenneth. And one of the things too is, salary is always negotiable, right? Like if you get into the interview and they really like you, they're going to want to keep you because they don't want to have to spend more time looking at other potential candidates. So salary is always negotiable, right? So don't let the salary, impede your opportunities with that organization. And the other thing I would say is, companies talk, people in companies talk to people in other companies. So let's say, you go to the interview and they don't have anything, or they can't meet your salary expectation. Who's to say that, Jack isn't going to have a golf game with, James over there and say, we have this great candidate, but I can't, my hands are tied. You should give her a call. Right. So I'm in total agreement. Go to the interview, you knock their socks off and, then they'll want you.
Okay. That sounds great. Great advice from all of you. And I didn't think that you never know. Somebody might know somebody else. It's the networking thing, isn't it?
Hey, Lisa,
Thank you very much.
Didn't we look at your LinkedIn profile not too long ago too?
Yes.
Did you make changes since then?
Not much. I've been busy. My kid's getting ready to go back to school and I have to move him. I moved him up. Now I have to move him up even further. So I'm kind of doing family stuff.
Okay.
But yes,
I totally get it.
I fix it.
Have you made any changes since the call? You did. Community engagement.
I made some minor, yes. I still need to go into my about and work on that. I just haven't had a chance to do it.
Okay. No worries at all. All right. Thank you, Lisa, for the question.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions or success stories to share? Please go into chat. I see Andrew Lemley says success. So Andrew, come on up to the stage. What do you got for us? Andrew, can you unmute yourself?
Hi, I'm unmuted now, I think. It's minor success, but success nonetheless. I have done 2 first round interviews in the last 2 weeks, and I have 2 second round interviews coming up next week. So I'm excited about that.
All right. So tell us, Andrew, because we always love hearing success stories, first of all. Tell us anything that you can offer as advice to fellow job seekers that are on this call. What led you to get those interviews? Anything you learned through the process? Anything you did that helped you to secure those, or advice to share?
One of them, I would say, know and think about everyone you know as someone who can help you. One of my uncles knew someone at this organization and connected me to the CEO, who then connected me to the hiring manager. So I think that definitely helped. Always be prepared. Wednesday morning, I got a call on my cell phone out of the blue from a company that I had just applied to. And she said, "Do you have 30 minutes right now to do a first round interview?" And I said, "Absolutely, I do." Put down my coffee and, went into it. So always be prepared, because you never know what's going to happen. The third thing, and then I'll be done, is this morning I got a call to schedule a second round interview, and my cell phone said it was spam or potential spam call. So I answered it and I said, "Hello, is Andrew there?" I said, "What can I do for you?" in kind of my grumpy voice. And he said, "This is Mike from this organization, and we'd like to have you come in for an interview." And then we laughed about it, because I told him I'm usually much more pleasant on the telephone, but my phone told me. So maybe the third thing is answer all the calls, even if they're going to be about your car warranty, and
Mortgage, insurance.
yeah, and try to have a smile on your face, even in those situations, because you don't know who it is.
That is such a valid point, and I get you on the grumpy answering. I do the same thing. I'm like, "Hello," like, what do you want?
What can I do for you?
And then they're like, "Are you the person that can help with LinkedIn? I need help." And then I'm like, "Oh, sorry." But that's I love your advice there, Andrew. First, just always be prepared. If you're going to answer the question, assume it's a recruiter who's calling. And be ready to go. And even in that case, Andrew, what if they have said, "I have 30 minutes. Can you talk right now?" Let's say you were out in the park with the dog and you just picked up a bag of thing and you can't really talk right then. Like, you might say, "Let me just gather some things up and I'll call you back in 2 minutes." Like, you buy yourself some time. Or maybe you're at home and you're up to your eyeballs in baking banana bread and you got sticky things all over and you need to grab your resume or the job posting. Let me just grab something out and I'll call you back in 3 minutes. Like, buy yourself some time. But if they said they've got a 30-minute window, you can like scramble pretty quickly to get things done. Now, I'm curious too, Andrew, do you have like a way that you're organizing jobs that you're applying to? Are you keeping a chart or files or documents or things? Or how, when these people call you, was it easy to locate the job posting, or did you remember that particular position off the top of your head? Tell us about that.
Yeah, what I've been doing is physically printing out the job descriptions and the application forms or whatever they are, and keeping them in a file in my computer bag all the time, because it's always with me. And in those situations, I can pull it out, rifle through for a minute while you're doing the pleasantries, and find it and sort of refresh and remember.
That's good. That's a really good organization system too. So, and then how long do you keep them for until they give you a no? Do you keep following up with those opportunities until they say we filled it or no response? Or how do you keep that organized so it's not growing and getting unwieldy?
I just started this search maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and these are the first ones. So I don't have a bunch. I've gotten some emails that say, "Hey, no thanks," and then I've been,
and then they get taken out of the file, right? Exactly. There you go. So, in the part of the reason I'm asking you this, Andrea, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm trying to ask you so we can all learn from the process too, and I'm bringing a little bit of my own when I was doing the job search background into the process, but being prepared and always having a copy of your resume handy, knowing the jobs that you've applied for, because the recruiter or the hiring manager that's calling you, Andrew, and all of you as well, they're going to assume that you're waiting for their call. And you don't want to be like, "ABC Corporation, I don't remember applying for you at all," because then they feel very unimportant all of a sudden. And you might say, "Of course, ABC, you know what? I'm just in the middle of something. Can I call you back in 2 minutes?" And then you can go grab your files, buy yourself some time. You know that they're available. Or even say, can I set the phone down for just a minute? And then you can go grab your files and buy yourself some time. Well, Andrew, best wishes for you. We will keep our fingers crossed for you. We hope we won't see you much longer on these calls, but we're always here for you in the meantime.
Can I do one quick shout out
Please,
before
yeah.
I go? So I had an initial call with Jude to talk about perhaps working together on resume things. And one of these opportunities, I'd been going back and forth for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks with the hiring manager. And she kept saying, yes, we want to talk. And then 4 days would go by. And then I'd ping her and she'd say, oh, I'm sorry, I've been crazy. And then 5 days would go by. So I was talking about this with Jude, and she had a great idea, which she shared with me, which I think is what finally secured me the phone interview, which she said, think about an article or some resource that you found recently that pertains to the position, and the next time you email, put that as a PS in the email, which honestly, I thought, oh man, a PS. I don't think I've used a PS since I was like 9. But I did. And no kidding, within 15 minutes, she called back with a date and time to schedule the interview. So I'm going to give Jude all 100% of the credit for that interview. Thank you.
Well, Jude, do you want to comment on that at all? I pulled you up on screen here.
People read PSs. They're infrequent and people don't use them anymore, but it's a PS is a great way. It's just like a quick thing that really stands out. And if you add something of value to the person that illustrates or further reinforces your competence, your expertise for the position that you're applying for, it could just be that one little thing that gets them to move on to setting up an interview with you. So PSs always work. And I have to say, I have to give credit to the first boss that I worked for in the career counseling field in Winnipeg. And he was the one that gave me that gold nugget. And I've been using it ever since. So I'm really glad it worked, Andrew.
I'm a believer. I was skeptical, but I'm a believer now.
Some of the oddest little suggestions that you get, they're kind of like, but I'm really glad you tried it because it worked.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Andrew. Best wishes to you on the continued success that you were sharing with us here today. I did see John Lyman had a success as well. John, are you able to pull yourself up on camera? Oh, sorry, Christopher. Go ahead. And John, can you unmute yourself?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I have had the tremendous good luck of having many recruiters out to me. I'm not sure whether it was astonishing good looks or certainly the immense on the LinkedIn profile that I learned from groups such as this that drew the attention. But I had more than my fair share of interviews to the point that I actually accepted a position. However, very quickly after that position started, I was also approached by other recruiters that although I headed to that position, the offer was very, very compelling, which prompted some deep soul searching. As job seekers, we all have to answer the important questions of what do I want out of a job? It certainly has to be more than just the money. The money is important, certainly, because it allows you to do important stuff like eat, a place to stay, money in your car. But having the luxury of already having a position, it made me do a lot of soul searching. What is it that we want out of a job? So long story short, I made a very difficult decision to manage my career and leave that I already had in the hand and then jump forward again. A very scary decision. It was certainly something that I did not think I would have to do so quickly. When you advocate managing your career actively, what does that look like? Well, it looks like you might have to make a scary, bold decision. And if it's something that's scary, it makes you have little butterflies. I think that's an indication headed in the right direction. So this could be my most brilliant career move or my most devastating one, but we will see what will happen. My time with the group will shortly come to a slow. I will certainly miss our Friday calls here, but I look forward to being an alumni when those meetings do happen.
Well, thank you, John. And John, I noticed we heard you okay throughout, but it was saying a couple points. It was like John's bandwidth is low. I want to give you guys a little bonus Zoom tip. If you're ever in a situation where your Wi-Fi seems a little spotty or you start to freeze up or things like that, go into at the bottom of your Zoom where you see the microphone icon. If you click on the little arrow, there's an option that will say switch to phone audio. Okay. And then when you click on switch to phone audio, you'll get a pop-up that'll say choose one of the audio conference options. And there's like a dial-in number. If you use that to dial in and then you put the meeting code, the participant ID, all that, it's still going to associate you with this Zoom call. And what will then happen is even though your Wi-Fi is spotty on your computer, the sound will be consistent. So even if you freeze, the sound will still keep working. You'll still be able to hear everything accurately. And I'm saying this, we're kind of in this protective, in VIP job seeker office hours call on a Friday where we can like kind of talk about this a little bit. Why would you want to do that? Well, if you're in an interviewing situation, you might have a hiring manager who is not very understanding or patient or is already frustrated with how their day is going. And they kind of get, frustrated with not being able to hear all of your answers. And then they just kind of finish the interview off quickly and leave the call. And they don't even tell you there's issues with the audio. It could also affect your perceived quality as a candidate because your audio is now, and that's not your fault. That's the technology. That's the Wi-Fi. We can't control that, but it could affect their perception of you as a quality as a candidate. So always, if it starts to happen like that, just say, I'm sorry. It looks like my Wi-Fi is getting a little spotty. If you'll give me just a moment, I'm going to dial in on the Zoom so that our audio will work. Would that be okay? And just kind of let them say, yep, that's fine. And then it'll take 30 seconds. Then you're in on audio and the audio will be smooth and we won't have any Wi-Fi issues. I hope you don't mind me pointing that out to you, John. Was that okay?
No, it's a great.
Okay. See, right now, even he's getting a little bit spotty again. I heard you say it's okay. And then it went bubbled and it kind of like went out. I couldn't hear the rest of what you said. So I'm saying this, and I love that we have these learning experiences with each other because we can all learn from them when we go into an interviewing situation. But John, I am delighted. I'm going to say I'm happy to see you leave, but I'm sad because you've been a delight and you've added a lot of humor and color commentary and things, and even your posts on LinkedIn. Always awesome. Do a great job with your song lyrics and things like that too. So very happy to hear that you have an opportunity you're looking at, and we look forward to welcoming you into the VIP job seeker community as well. By the way, we do have a VIP alumni group that is for graduates, people who've found a job. We meet quarterly on a Monday night. We just met about 2 weeks ago. So once you are back to work, just message me on LinkedIn or Megan Voges. She's the other person who runs the group. And then we'll invite you to the group, and the schedule of the calls, everything is listed in there. So will be nice to see all of you on the alumni side. And thank you so much, John, for sharing with us. All right. Let's see. I don't think I see any other questions or success stories coming in here. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to do a little field trip, if you will. I'm going to bring us over to, let's see, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm taking us over to LinkedIn right now because I want to remind everybody about the private unlisted group that I've created on LinkedIn. It's private and unlisted. What that means, unlisted means you cannot find the group in the group's directory. So if you're not a part of it and you go to the top and you type on VIP Meller Marketing, you are not going to find it. If you are a part of this call today, I'm going to put it in chat in just a second here, and then you will have access to the group. Okay. So I'm already in the group. That's why I can see it in my groups listing under here, but I'm going to drop this into chat right now. If you're on the call today and you have not yet joined the group, go ahead and click on that link inside the chat right now. When you come to this page on LinkedIn, it will say request to join. And it's kind of like you got to knock on the door and request to come inside. You can't see everything in the group because it's unlisted and it's private. Private means you got to get somebody like me to admit you into the group. And I'm the only person who admits people into the group. Part of the reason I do that is because I want to keep this group solely focused on people in the job seeking community who are actively in career transition and looking for work, or people like Jude and Kenneth and Sue who I trust inside the group. I want to keep the swarmy, slimy people out of the group. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? I had someone from, I'm sorry to say the name, Primerica, reach out to me this week and was offended that I didn't want to open up a branch. And I was like, why would I want to open up a branch? I'm independent consultant. I do LinkedIn. And he was, I'm like, I'm sorry. Primerica has a little bit of a reputation of being overly aggressive. And I don't know if it's just, you just go with everyone or what, but I keep out people in the group that are not there for the right reasons. So I want to just point that out to you. If you are ever having difficulty coming into one of these Friday calls, go into the group and post and say, I can't find the link. Someone from the call will go in and share the link with you. Okay. If you ever have questions, post them inside the group. Like here's one for Joan, and she's saying, hey, is there another way to invite someone to the group without tagging them in a LinkedIn post? And I will go through these at least once or twice a week, and I'll make sure I'm responding. And I say, message them the page to register, and I'll give you the answer to that. So if you ever have a question, I would say put it in the group because it benefits everyone. And then we can all kind of learn from it. I want to show, did you guys all see the crying CEO post this week? We have to talk about this for just a second. I'm hoping you all saw this post this week. And then there was some fallout from it. Basically it was, he had to let people go, and he took a picture of himself crying that he had to let people go. And he was devastated that he had to do this to his employees and his friends and blah, 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 blah. And they posted it, and it kind of like went viral. And a lot of people commented on it. And, there's a lot of negative backlash. Like, who are you to use their, and why, if you really wanted to help them, you should have tagged them in the post and helped them to find other jobs. And then he kind of came back and said, well, I needed their permission first. And I think Kenneth, isn't he now like profiling these people in his posts? I think he is doing that.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I debated like a lot of people, but how I would respond, even if I would respond.
No, I just scrolled past. I was like, are you kidding me? And that was as much time and attention I gave to it. And then I scrolled on past. But it's in the group if you want to check it out, if you haven't seen it. Kenneth did have a post about it. Kenneth, if you want to drop the link in comments to your post, feel free. Some commentary on it. A lot of conversation going on about that. But, on that note too, I want to remind all of you, if you have not yet posted on LinkedIn to tell people that you are in career transition, looking for your next job opportunity, please do so. Now, I personally wouldn't do a crying photo. I would do like a happy picture of me with a mug, or, maybe holding up some marketing textbooks or something that shows that I'm positive, I'm upbeat, and I'm ready to hit the ground running working for your company. I would do that as a post, hey, if you haven't heard, I'm currently in career transition looking for my next dream job as a marketing director in marketing in Metro Detroit. If you hear about any opportunities, please let me know, message me. I'd love to do virtual coffees. If you have any networking events that you feel might be a good fit for me or resources, please tag them in comments below. Like, I would go out with guns blazing on this. Like, let people know that you are looking for help. Tell them what you are looking for. If you're doing this in my Zoom calls every week, you have your introduction ready. Targeted job title, targeted geographic area. You don't need to put your LinkedIn URL because it's on LinkedIn, right? But give them a call to action. Like, tell them what you're looking for, right? And if you're looking for help, if you're looking for virtual coffees, if you're looking for advice, tell people, because they want to help you. And some people may not know that you're in career transition. So don't be shy. And I love the selfie photos too, and just make it positive and upbeat. And consider doing that if you haven't done that already. A lot of times I see people posting inside the group here with articles. Lewis, here's a great one, as how to rise above your fear of being rejected for a job. So if you find articles that you feel would benefit this group, definitely share them in here. Becky had a question about using Fiverr. I had responded. I think some other people did as well. Lewis had found an article on monster.com, what to include in a cover letter. So some really great resources. Nancy, I think Nancy's on the call. Nancy, I want to thank you for sharing this. I was not even aware of this. LinkedIn Learning is making 20 of its most popular courses available free until the end of August. And the link is inside here. I haven't even looked at this yet. The 20 most popular LinkedIn learning courses of the year, and it looks like these are all available. There's a goal setting, communicating with confidence, speaking confidently. So great courses in here. Thank you, Nancy, for bringing this to our attention. And these are free. You don't have to have
You're welcome.
any of the paid versions. So thank you, Nancy. How are you today, by the way?
I'm okay. I'm multitasking as always. So
Aren't we all?
good to see you.
Awesome.
Hope
So-
you had a lovely holiday.
Yes. So yeah, anytime you come across resources, drop them in the group. What I recommend is the first time you come to the group, comment on other people's posts first, and then go and post something. I always want to create that social media karma, that community first, and then post something that I want to share. I'm going to skip the one in there from the next person, but there was a comment on somebody who had updated their resume on one of the sites, and a bunch of recruiters started looking at it again. And it's just a reminder, if you haven't refreshed your resume in a while on Indeed or LinkedIn or anything like that, to make sure that you are refreshing it, add in some different keywords, phrases, tweaking it, and then reposting it. The person was saying that brought her up to the top of search result, and a bunch of recruiters called her, and she's like, I didn't even really change anything. I just refreshed it quickly. So some great stuff inside here. Last week, Evie couldn't find the Zoom link. Someone replied back and gave it to her. So check the group out. If you aren't already doing so, go into the group at least once a week and just see what people are posting. I'm going to refresh and see if anyone has requested to join. Okay, so I see requests to join as the group admin. I don't see any coming in right now. And by the way, 719 members, you can see who the members of the group are. As you click on see all, next to their name, it's going to say first. If you see second or third, that means you are not connected with the person yet. So I highly recommend that you invite them to connect. When you do so, here's what I do. I'm going to click on Valerie's name right now. And then if you see the connect button, you'll click on that. If you don't see connect, you're going to click on more. And underneath there will be an option that will either say connect or personalize invite. In this case, I see connect. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on add a note because we always want to add personalization. I'm going to say, hi, Valerie. We are both part of the VIP job seeker office hours group, something to that effect. So just remind her, you might even say by Brenda Meller or something, that's me. So it feels a little weird saying my own name, but I want you to see that. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Okay. And do that in, even before you send it out, you might want to just copy it, because then you can paste it and put it in a couple more invitations and do this process a little bit faster for the additional invitations that you send out. It's a great way of building your network of other people who are on LinkedIn and building your connections. The more that we help out each other, the faster this whole job search is going to go. I'm glad, Kenneth, that you came up, because I was just going to go and search for your profile. One other thing I want to show you, this bell icon. If there are people like Kenneth and Jude and Sue, whose posts are always valuable to you as a job seeker, and you want to make sure that you see them more often, make sure first that you have connected with them. And when you connect, you're automatically following them, by the way. Follow means sometimes you'll see their posts in the homepage feed, not always though, right? So if you want to see more of their posts and get notified when they post, you'll want to click on the bell icon. And by default, if I first come to Kenneth's profile, I'm going to see the bell, but it's kind of like not filled in. And if I hover over that, it says get notified about all of Kenneth's posts. And as soon as I do that, the bell gets filled in. So now I've basically told LinkedIn, I want you to show me more of Kenneth's posts. And I should see in my notifications anytime Kenneth's posts something. I say I should, because you'll notice how many notifications I have when I come in here, and there's a lot. And I'm not always going to see everything, but it increases the likelihood that you're going to see more of Kenneth's posts on there. Kenneth, do you want to add anything to that process, the bell notification, the icon, or seeing more posts from people that you want to see? Anything you want to add?
The truth, I'm not even sure how the bell icon always works, honestly, like everyone else. It's like, if I say one thing, it's going to be the other. And I don't think there's a rhyme or reason to how the bell actually works, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
It's supposed to. I mean, if you read it, only get notified about Kenneth's task posts. This is confusing to me, because it looks like that's what it is right now. But that's actually what happens if I click on and it fills it in. Like it's
Well,
like a
how do
scrolled
you
out.
define a top post versus a non-top post and all that other stuff? That's why,
Yeah, I
exactly.
know. Yeah.
Yep,
It
yep.
increases the likelihood. I mean, if you really want to make sure you're seeing everyone's posts or a certain list of people's posts, put a list of their names in an Excel spreadsheet with their LinkedIn URL next to it and visit those profiles once a week. That's the way that you're
Yep.
going to really see. Don't rely on LinkedIn because LinkedIn's going to serve up what they think you want to see and what's performing well. And it may or may not be a post from Kenneth. Having said that, if you want to see more posts from a person, every time you see something from them in the homepage feed, make sure that you interact with the post. Give it a like, give it a comment. Comments should be 5 or more words to keep those a little bit longer on there. So make sure that you're engaging with those in the homepage feed. Kenneth, anything else you want to add before we move off of this?
Nope, not at all. Thanks
Okay.
for liking the post, by the way.
That's
absolutely-
beautiful. Where was that taken at?
This was actually taken in mass in that Boston, right when when Adam was graduating. So we did those different posts and things, and it's our anniversary this weekend. So after this call, I'm going to be off for a couple of days, chilling in the city. But no, it was just the one. It was just some. We just looked at it. We loved the picture.
That's awesome. So I saw a question come in from Joan Smith. Joan, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to pull up your profile real quick because you said, how do I get the bell notification on my profile? Been trying for months. You're not going to ever see it on your own profile, Joan. If I go to your profile, I will see the bell. If I am, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Kenneth, I think you have to be both connected and following the person.
Yes.
Right. So let me
Yes.
just show you right now, Joan, we are connected. I know that because it says first. So first means we are directly connected to each other. Now, if I go under the more icon and I click on unfollow, and then let me just refresh your profile to show you, see the bell icon is gone. So if I'm unfollowing you, I don't get that option. You're never going to see this on your own profile though, Joan. You're only going to see this on other people's profile. Now I click on follow and look, the bell icon is back. So if I wanted to see more of your posts, it's not your own profile, it's the other person's profile. You need to be connected and following them. Does that help to answer your question, Joan? Can you unmute yourself or no?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate that.
welcome.
Very helpful.
It's confusing though. And Christopher said, does the bell also alert you to post within a shared group? Wouldn't that be great if it did, Christopher? Once upon a time, you guys may recall there was a way that I could alert you like once a week about posts inside the group. And I don't even think that's possible anymore. Is it? Let me try to post, like, I'll just say, here's the YouTube link from our call today. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to click on post and then the 3 dots. Okay, let's see. There's not even a notify group members anymore inside here. Now I do see at the top of the group, in my view, I see a bell icon. Do you guys see that at the top of yours when you go inside the group?
Yes, and if you click that on, it's going to give you the notifications.
Oh, okay. Manage notifications. All new posts, highlights, no new posts. Okay, so get notified about all new posts in the group. So who just spoke up right now? Who was that? Was it Lisa?
Yes, Paula.
Paula? So Paula, do you have the bell notification set to all new posts? And if so, do you see notifications coming in from our group?
So yes, I have it set to all new notifications, and yes, I do, but it's not necessarily every time.
Okay.
It might tell you like once a day, like, hey, there's been a new post. So it might not, if there's like 5 posts during the day, it might not send you like 5 notifications that there's been a new one. It might just send you like once a day, like, hey, there's new posts in there, but it will let you know.
Okay. So make sure when you're in the group, you click on the bell at the top and click on all new posts. Even though I'm going to use air quotes, all new posts, because you're not really getting all of them. LinkedIn says they're going to notify you, but I don't know if it's just a combination of clutter. There's so many notifications coming in. Maybe it is in your notifications and it's notification number 78, right? It's at the bottom and you didn't see it. Who knows? But just make sure that you have that clicked and make sure, the group is as active as you make it. And it's going to be as helpful to you as a resource as we all can be as a community. So make sure that you're using the group.
And then Brenda, it doesn't really tell you what the notifications are. It just sends you to the group page. So it's like, you've got to figure it out yourself. Like, hey, I've read this before, or, oh, this is new.
Yeah. Good point. I saw another question from Andrew about connecting versus following. So let me explain that relationship to you again. So when you are connected to a person, it's a two-way interaction. So following, and let me just show you and as an example, I'm going to find somebody in the group I'm not yet connected with. So let's see, I just sent an invite to Valerie. Let me find Wendy. I'm going to click on Wendy's profile. So right now, Wendy and I are not directly connected. We're second level, which means we share common connections, but we are not yet connected to each other. I could go onto Wendy's profile and I could click on follow, and that's a one-way action. I don't have to wait for Wendy to do anything. Yes, it is similar to Twitter or Instagram for public accounts. Sometimes you click on follow on Instagram and it says this person's account is private. They'll have to accept it in order for you to follow their updates. But yeah, it's similar to public accounts on Twitter and Instagram. Follow is a one-way action. And when you follow, you should potentially start to see their updates in the homepage feed. And I'm saying should and potentially because depending on how many people you're following, there's a lot of clutter in your homepage feed and you may not see them. Okay. Connection is a two-way exchange. So one person has to initiate inviting that individual to connect and the other person has to accept it. And that's when we click on the blue connect button and we always add a note. I'm going to type in, hi, Wendy. Did I keep my text? No, I did not. Hi, Wendy. We're both in the VIP Job Seekers group by Brenda Meller. Whoops, I got a typo in there. Let's connect on LinkedIn, Brenda Meller. I always type in the full note because that helps me and that helps Wendy because she might be like, who's this Brenda character? Oh yeah, that's right. That's Brenda of the Brenda VIP group character, right? So connecting is a two-way action. One of the parties initiates inviting the person to connect. The other person will then get inside their My Network tab at the top and notification about somebody inviting them to connect. If you do not include a note, like Andrew did in here, he's relying upon me to decide whether or not I want to accept the invitation. If you do include a note, like Joe, which looks a little bit spammy and automated and non-personalized, I may not accept that. Sometimes I see that someone will say, oh, should I tell you my favorite pie to connect? Because I mentioned in my about statement, I say, tell me your favorite. I'm like, oh, she actually read my profile. That's more likely to get accepted. Okay. So using that personal note helps to increase the likelihood that the person is going to accept your invitation. And then after you have accepted that person's invitation, then you have the ability to message them unlimited, right? And we can message each other back and forth. We have permission, right? Because one person initiated the introduction, the other person accepted. We can message each other unlimited. We can see each other's contact information. So connecting is a two-way, following is a one-way, okay? I always try to connect with people over following them if possible. And by the way, there's no limit on how many people you can follow or how many people can follow you. There is a connection limit. You can only have 30,000 connections. I know only, that's a huge number, right? But a lot of people do hit the 30,000 and they can't accept anymore. So if you see someone's profile that has 1 million followers, chances are they've already maxed out on their connections and they're not going to be able to accept you unless they kick someone else out. So thank you, Andrew, for asking that question and giving me the opportunity to give a little mini lesson there. Jude had a question for Kenneth. Do you want to ask that, Jude, out to Kenneth live here?
Yeah, Kenneth, I remember in a very recent post, I think it was this week, you had talked about reaching out to CEOs and not including a personal message and how you got more accepts without the personal message. And I think your reasoning was because they're very busy, they don't have time to read. So
it wasn't so much it wasn't my reasoning as much as what other people were saying, because they were looking at CEOs who are going through lots and lots of stuff and they just see a connection request on LinkedIn. So they may just connect it because they're not going to open it up and have the time to read it and then think about replying. Now, that's not an all-encompassing thing. That's like if you want to reach out to the person, maybe follow them first. But again, that's a discussion within all of us. And I don't know how Brenda feels about that. I'd be curious to find out. I mean, we're not so much the HR person, but you want to reach out to someone at a high level. Do you still think a personalized connection request would make sense, or just send it because they're going to either accept it or not? I mean, what do you think?
Do it. I always,
Okay.
always. And
Okay.
the only time I might not, like if we were on a phone call and we just had a 30-minute discovery call, and
That makes
even
sense.
then, I honestly, Kenneth, I would still do it, because what if we decide not to do business with each other at that point in time, and 6 months goes
Sure.
by and they forget who I am? If you message them and you include that personal note when you invite them to connect, that's going to be in the messaging history.
Yeah.
And they're going to go, oh, that's right. And now I remember we had a discovery call, and it helps me and it helps them.
Well, I think for me, it was a conversation to get some feedback both ways. I mean, I just wanted to get a sense of what people thought, and I said, this is my thought. Now, what do you think? Because again, I don't have all the answers, and I'm not always going to be right in different perspectives. I think that's so important too.
Yeah. And what I love, and someone even said that in chat a little while ago, there's conflicting advice that's out there. And I definitely agree. If you're hearing conflicting advice, I would ask the person for some explanations why on their rationale. So you just asked me, do you include an invitation? Always include personalization. Why? And I think about, where is that person's expertise? So if somebody asked me a resume question and I told you a response, I would probably always caveat that by saying, I am not a resume writer. I am not a resume expert. I'm a marketer.
Right.
I'm a hiring manager who's looked at a lot of resumes over the years. So I can tell you, like, this is how I react when I see this in a resume. Jude's going to say, but the ATS and but this and but that. And she knows, because she works with resumes in and out all the time. So I always think about the advice that's the person who's giving you the advice. Is that their body of knowledge that they're trained and licensed or educated in? Or is this, like, everybody thinks they know advertising and marketing, you know what I mean? Like, because we see it all the time. Everybody can do it, right? No, like, where are they coming from that area? So ask them the why if you're getting conflicting advice, and then you have to decide for yourself. Absolutely. I think what makes sense.
Brenda, can I just add one thing? If you are reaching out to connect with someone, please, please, please send a personalized message. I have a stack of invites, and frankly, I'm tired of me taking the initiative to go to their to go to their profile to find out whether or not there's any reason for us to connect. I'm not into cryptocurrency.
That is the next thing, though. I'm like, it's not reaching a tipping point, but I was talking to somebody who's a futurist, and she's like, it's happening. And I'm like, and then she's like, but remember the internet naysayers back in the day? And I'm like, yeah, okay.
But it's exhausting to check. And it's exhausting for me to have to reach out and say, thanks for your invite to connect. How do you think that we can be of help to each other? And then wait for the person, or it's just exhausting, and it doesn't put you in a professional light. You've just gone down 5 steps in my mind by not including a personalized message. So please, please, please include a message. It doesn't have to be more than 2 lines, and it can be something really simple. Like, you might find something in their headline that resonates with you, right? I've connected with people who love Paris, just like I love Paris. And that was what they sent to me, and I immediately connected with them. So it doesn't take a lot of work, but it demonstrates your professionalism, and people will more likely accept your invitation.
All right. Awesome. Well, I want to start to wrap us up here, because it is now 11:06. I just looked up and I'm like, oh my gosh, we've gone over on time. And I like to keep these calls right to time. And my dog is barking. Can you guys hear my dog barking in the background right now? So I'm going to start to wrap up. First of all, I want to thank all of you for making this a part of your Friday. I want to thank Christopher for helping to co-host. I want to thank Jude and Kenneth and Sue for being on today's call as well. Before you leave, please go to the chat at the bottom where it says to everyone. Go to the right-hand side, click on the little 3 dots, and you'll see an option to save chat. That way you can save the chat to your downloads folder. If you want to go back later and invite people to connect, you'll have the opportunity to do so. Now that you've been on this call one time, you will get you'll have the opportunity to join every Friday. It's the same link for every Friday. And I think when you first register, it gives you the option to save it to your calendar. Okay. If you can't find it, you can go back and register it again. I think you'll get the same notification and the meeting reminder and everything. It's the same Zoom link for the rest of the year. In 2023, I'll have a new Zoom link that we'll be using. So just a reminder about that. If you ever see someone on LinkedIn who is in career transition, posting about their job search, tag me in comments. And Christopher asked us at the beginning, he's like, well, what do I say? Like, you don't have to say anything. Just do @Brenda Meller. I will look at the post and I'll go, Andrew's in career transition, and I'll reply back and I'll say, I'd like to invite you to my Friday VIP office hours. It's free. Here's the link to join, spread the word. So you don't have to say anything. Just do @Brenda Meller, tag me. I will always read the post. If it's about somebody in career transition, I'll automatically put the link in. So you don't need to do anything more with that. Or you can message me on LinkedIn and do a message exchange and just say, hey, Brenda, can you give Valerie the link to your Friday group? I'm happy to do that at any point in time. What else? I want to remind everyone to stay positive. Remind you, this is temporary. This too shall pass. This is character building, right? This time in our lives is character building. We're going to remember these things. We're going to be motivated to find that dream job as we move forward. And I want to remind you, you cannot control what happened to you yesterday and 6 months ago and last year. You can control what you do today and what you do tomorrow and what you do next week. So I want you to keep focused on finding that dream job. I want you to believe in yourself. You will find another job. Surround yourself with positive people who support you. Don't be afraid to reach out if you feel like you are floundering. This is an emotional roller coaster we are going through. If you are feeling alone, make sure that you're getting an accountability partner, somebody else from inside the group even. You can go and chat right now and say, I need an accountability partner. Somebody will say, let's jump on a call. And maybe that person can be that one just to keep you moving along with getting your resume updated and ask you how your job search is going so that you feel that there is some built-in accountability, that you are not alone in this process. Okay. That's why I have this group. It is isolating. It is a roller coaster. I do not want anyone to feel alone. And I also want to surround myself with positive, awesome VIPs, very important people, which is what you are all to me. Having said that, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to stop the recording on YouTube now. I'll keep this open for about 10 more minutes if you want to stay on for general networking or to pull down the chat or anything else. And I'll come back on real quick and let you know before I am stopping the Zoom link. So let me just stop the recording.